Hey everybody and welcome back to Semi Stories. Today we got some crazy stories for you from r/today I messed up, starting with OP who's playing Baldur's Gate 3 with his girlfriend, but messes up. A little over a month ago, my partner and I were itching for a new co-op game to sink our teeth into. We had heard a lot about Baldur's Gate 3 and decided to give it a shot. It took a bit to get hooked due to the turn-based combat, but once we got into it, we haven't let go. We finished our first playthrough roughly 2 weeks ago and neither of us got to romance the characters we wanted. We decided to boot up a second playthrough and focus on romancing our preferred companions this time around. I chose Karlach and she chose Astarion. My partner can't seem to get Astarion to want to romance her due to their conflicting interest. Whereas this time around, Karlach was all over me. For some insight into our relationship, touch and words of affirmation are my love language. My girlfriend's a little more reserved and casual. Hearing Karlach's character announce her feelings to me was something I would have never expected. It honestly just threw both of us for a loop. We're laughing and having a great time until I select a dialogue option for "I love you." And her character responds, "I love you too," before going on a tangent about her feelings. My girl jokingly rubs her hands across my crotch before noticing I'm rock hard. At this moment she gets quiet and eventually asks to stop playing. I try to see what's up and she's questioning why I got so turned on. I explain to her how affectionate I am and hearing that rebounded, even from a video game. It caught me off guard and turned me on. I told her she is the only person I want and I love our dynamic. But sometimes it's still nice to hear those things. She ended up sleeping on the couch and we haven't really spoken about this since last night, but I feel like this won't be the last I hear about this. Opie then blessed us with an update to this story. So, as some of you have seen from my post history, we've been together for nearly 3 years now, with our share of drama. I initially posted this because I thought it was funny, but from a lot of comments I'm seeing that I've been a little blind to a lot of things. I tried speaking to my partner this morning about concerns which initially didn't go well. She apologized shortly after we both arrived at work and we spoke in more detail on our lunch breaks. She's not blind to her actions, nor am I blind to mine. We made a commitment to try harder, show more enthusiasm and commitment. And for now, that's all I have to say. I love this girl and I intend to marry her one day, but we are both people in the end of the day, meaning we both come with our flaws. I don't believe in giving up on people and will stick through until the end. Please do not bash her. She is an amazing mother and partner. And yeah, sometimes the communication is a bit whack, but we are working on this together. Let me start by saying that Karlach is the best girl, so I don't blame OP. I think the voice actress did an amazing job portraying this ruthless girl with a very awkward, sensitive side. But getting a stiffy from it, yeah. It does raise a good point for OP and his girlfriend. Communication is a key in a relationship and being vocal and saying how you feel is the only way to keep that love going. I think that OP's girlfriend shouldn't have just slept on the couch like that. Considering, for one, that this isn't really that big of a deal, in my opinion, but also because it accomplishes nothing. You will only start to overthink something that ain't there. Just talk it out. I'm really glad they made up though. In our next story, OP accidentally calls his girlfriend his wife. My girlfriend and I have been with each other now for about 1.5 years, and so far everything in our relationship has been fantastic. We've just gotten our own apartment and her son, no blood relation to me, woke her up early enough to make pancakes before I had to leave for work this morning. The whole morning seriously seemed like it was something out of a Norman Rockwell painting. And after a big move in, we were all just glad to sit down together and enjoy breakfast. However, after we were all done and she was doing the dishes, just as I was about to leave, I commented on how the blinds were left open and she was still in her nightgown. I said something along the lines of, "You gotta be careful no one other than me sees you wearing that." And she asked why, and as I was grabbing my keys I mentioned using some sort of Freudian slip, "Because I don't want to explain to everyone how sexy my wife is." And I caught myself instantly saying that, and her mouth dropped. I left the house quickly, red-faced, knowing I effed up in the conversation and kissed her goodbye in the most awkward scuffle I've ever made. It felt like I crapped the bed, to be honest, with how embarrassed I felt, and now that I'm at work, I don't know what I'm going to do when I get home. We actually haven't discussed marriage at all since we've been together, other than that it's something we're both vaguely interested in, and now I don't want to have to sit there down and say I'm not ready yet. It just feels awkward and out of place, and it doesn't help that our actual neighbor thinks we are married, and I haven't really corrected him on that yet. It feels like I'm just coasting on the idea of being together in that way, like some trial run in the back of my head. Anyways, I'm hoping we both get drunk enough to forget it when I get home and won't have to have the conversation of marriage until I'm certain it's something I want. Oof, yeah, well, depending on the type of girl, she might go crazy about that one. Personally, it's a cute little mistake that might feel more like banter. But if she's an overthinker, you might want to set the record straight lest she gets the wrong idea. But do this while still sober. Alcohol has never improved any situation. In our last story, Opie messes up by leaving after his girlfriend told him that she loved him during sex. First of all, I know I effed up, and I need to fix it. This is my first post, I'm so desperate. I, 28 male, have been exclusively dating my 24 female girlfriend for about 8 months. A week ago, I asked her officially to be my girlfriend the last day of a trip I had planned. We hadn't had sex yet. My girlfriend, early on, told me that she wanted to wait until she was in an established relationship first, and I understood and respected that. We got wasted the last day of our trip, had a flight early morning, and I had a week-long work trip immediately after. So, while it was on the forefront of our minds, we had to wait. I returned, went to her apartment, and long story short, she initiated sex. Before we continue, I want to emphasize that I love this woman. I am in love with this woman. I knew already just months into our relationship, but her comfort and establishing security was my priority. She has taught me to be a better man, a better love, and a better human. We both come from dysfunctional environments. I am rough, have a hard exterior, am very nonchalant and not emotional, while she has remained soft, optimistic, and kind at heart. She's taught me about triggers, trauma, and coping. Before her, I never took a girl seriously. I was an actual hoe, running through women and giving them zero emotional anything. I had been honest, but still. Taking care of her has been my priority since I met her. She's not someone you come across often. Protecting her and taking care of her in any way she allows me to financially, she's kind of hard-headed about that, is my priority. And still she tells me that the health of our relationship comes first, before any of the material stuff. What a woman. A month or two ago, she revealed to me she had reservations about being intimate due to trauma and being celibate for so long, 3 years. It only solidified my wanting to protect and love her and wait for her to be comfortable. So back to last night. I had not expected it to be as emotional for me as it was. I honestly wasn't expecting sex. I just wanted to be in her presence after a long, hard week of work. The foreplay in itself was passionate and intimate. Nothing I've ever experienced before. As I was about to enter her, graphic, my bad, we were staring at each other, and was I on the verge of tears. I asked her if she was okay before I committed to pushing forward, and boom. Looked me straight in my soul and told me she loved me. I froze. I got soft, to my surprise, and had to excuse myself. When I came back into the room, she was confused, but I was so consumed with this irrational fear of hurting her, both emotionally and physically, and effing this up, I couldn't even look at her. She kept saying, "Derek, Derek." I mumbled something along the lines of, "I couldn't do it," and I just left. I'm not a crier, but full transparency, I shed a tear or two on my drive home. I woke up and realized how it may seem on her end and felt like absolute crap. She won't respond to my texts or calls, and I have no idea what to do. Did I sabotage the love of my life? A tough situation. Big of OP for being able to talk about his emotions like that, despite being a tad emotionless normally. I 100% agree that women make men better humans, but also vice versa. Well, luckily, OP did post an update a little while after. Thank you all for your comments. Very few of you were actually pretty rude, but I suppose that comes with the territory of Reddit. Glad to say I can relay a huge FU for those telling me I had no chance. To everyone else, you all made me realize that in person was better and soon is ideal. I went to her ASAP. Here's what happened. Despite my long-winded posts, I am not a man of many words. Throughout our relationship, I tried my hardest to compensate with my actions. That obviously bit me in the ass when my actions did not align with my heart. I had to put my initial demeanor aside and pour my all into her audibly. And I did just that. I'm not sure how detailed I should be. I went to her apartment. She answered, not expecting it to be me. I've told her about answering the door and not knowing who it is, but that's neither here nor there right now. She was hesitant to let me in, but after pleading, she allowed it. I was overcome with emotion, so much that no words were coming out. Call me what you want, but I got to my knees in front of this woman and told her how I felt, how much she meant to me, how hard it was for me to be so open and vulnerable, and that I hadn't realized this until that night. My girl is very great at facilitating an open environment for communication, so this by no means a reflection of her, but a testament to my upbringing. For context, both my girl and I come from abusive households. That reveals itself to her in ways, though she handles it with grace and great consideration for others, whereas mine is very avoidant and closed off. Since a child, I never felt like a woman would truly love me based on what I was instilled in by my mother. We've had this conversation before. She's aware of this. I'm currently in therapy, but I didn't expect to react that way once I'm in the presence of a woman who does in fact love me. I told her and reiterated that I will go through hell and high water to acknowledge my inner conflicts, not only for myself, but for her. I emphasized I will also do this so I can show up for her emotionally and never leave her in a vulnerable state again. I apologized and teared up and apologized some more. She just listened, crying but listening. She knelt down to me and unbelievably this woman said verbatim, "I understand. Our actions are never a reflection of others but of the relationship we have with ourselves." She told me how she felt confused, hurt and betrayed. Hearing that destroyed me. But she also reassured me that she knew who I was as a man and believed me to be genuine. She also threw in that if that stuff ever happened again, I'd have no access to her and she is her own priority above anyone else. Trust me, I will not be calling her bluff. She is very sure of herself and I'm surprised she even let me in. She kissed me, thanked me for my honesty and told me it was okay to cry. Man, I've always been told as a man I am less for showing emotion. I never felt so open and comfortable, not even with my longtime friends. Nonetheless, I wanted to make sure that I was the one comforting her and not the other way around. I asked her what I can do and well, we finished what we started. I made love to my woman for the first time. In the morning, I got us breakfast, making sure to leave a note so she wasn't caught off guard if she woke up and saw I wasn't there. I'm going to marry this girl, do right by her and myself. She is going to be the mother of my children when the time is right, mark my words. Coming from a man who didn't see any of this for himself just a year ago. She really changed me for the better. I also want to note that though my girlfriend nurtures me this way, she does not mother me. I know there's a rhetoric of women building a man, and she's 100% facilitating my growth, but I am a grown man responsible for my actions and will make the effort to be better on my own. I do not want to paint her as a weak for giving me a second chance like some of you have insinuated. Her support was and is something I will be grateful for forever. Also, I did end up showing her this post and we laughed at a few comments. The girlfriend then proceeded to write a couple of words herself. Girlfriend here. Hi. With work, we are all capable of reaching the healthiest version of ourselves. This moment is not a mirror of our relationship, but a marker to my boyfriend's growth. If I can say anything to help anyone, I urge everyone to reach out to those you love and do better, not only for them, but for yourselves. We are not to blame for our traumas, but we are responsible for how they show up in our actions. Much love. Absolute wife material right there. I totally empathize with OP about feeling like emotions are looked down upon as a man. Finding a girl that nurtures you and allows you to express your feelings without judgment is so important. This also counts for the friends, by the way, it doesn't just have to be your girlfriend. I can't imagine what must have been going through her head at that time. This kind of emotional and mental stress is really hard to deal with, and some people just give up at the slightest hiccup. I'm glad this girl was able to accept OP again with some hesitation, while having every right to end things right there and then. She is insanely mature emotionally, and that is a rare find. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. See ya!